Hey everybody, it's me, JJ. It is Friday, June 5th, 2020. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. All right. So huge update in the stock market. We're going to talk about the jobs number and how really false hope, false expectations. And we're going to talk about used car prices. There is some news out there saying car prices recovered in May, but if you're looking for a great deal on a car, hold your horses because there's a lot of things that we need to watch or wait for it to unfold before the real deals are going to be available for buying things on the cheap, if you know what I mean. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, 829 points, over a 3% gain. And again, let's take a look at this V-shaped recovery from those mid-March lows when the lockdowns first began. Now remember, this is not an economic recovery that's a V-shape. Stocks and the real economy are very disconnected right now. I'm sure most of you know that by now. So what was the good news? It was a surprising surge in jobs. And we'll just look at a Reuters headline right here. U.S. labor market unexpectedly improves. Now, not so fast. Let's take a look at what type of jobs are being added here. And let's go down to this part of this article here. Part-time workers accounted for 2/5 of the increase in employment. So 2/5, that's 40% of all these jobs are part-time jobs. How are people going to survive if prices are still elevated? The cost of living has really not dropped. 10% drop in car prices in the last couple months, not a huge drop. Home prices haven't really come down yet. The economy's frozen right now. Now here's what I want to stress. If you're waiting for the actual best buying opportunity, hold your horses because we have a lot of things that we have to see unfold here. We've got one, the car rental bankruptcies. So far we've seen Hertz, that's going to be 500,000 cars flooded into the used car market. And how many other rental agencies are going to have to also file bankruptcy? Right, we're not going to have all the people flooding out to rent cars and take vacations and travel like we did before the lockdowns for many reasons. We've got still a lot of unrest happening right now, a lot of uneasiness, still a lot of fear out there about getting sick. Also, we're looking at a second wave possibly coming up here in the fall. So I'm sure they're going to try to report on that there's a bunch of new cases bumping up probably right before November. I would guess September, October, we're going to see them reporting on that. And that could cause fear. So this economic recovery is not what it seems. Also, as far as all the people behind on their payments, we talked many times about the forbearances. You have banks temporarily suspending foreclosures and temporarily suspending payments. What's going to happen when that ends? Are people going to be out buying used cars and new cars? Or is this going to be a huge hole that the consumer is going to be in? Remember, the debt's still going to be there. Just because they didn't have to make payments for a couple months doesn't mean the debt goes away. It just gets tacked on to the end of the loan. And also we have to ask ourselves, what are the banks going to do? Are they going to waive the interest that had accrued over those few months? Well, I kind of doubt it. Just because the payments were frozen doesn't mean that the actual loan itself was frozen. So you're likely going to see accrued interest still adding up over that time. How are these consumers going to be able to get caught up on their payments, one? And two, with 40% of jobs being part-time, how are people going to maintain? And how is this economy going to go back to where it was? Right? Answer me that. I'd like to hear from you down in the comments. So I'm thinking here, let's hold off, see what happens. There's a lot of things yet that are up in the air, the frozen economy. Right, and here is another very big thing to factor in when you're looking at this fake unemployment data here. 20 million private sector employees went from being unemployed and collecting unemployment to falling under employed category because of the PPP loans. That was the Paycheck Protection Program. So now the people that, many of them still not working because the businesses are still closed down. Some of them shut down because of COVID, some of them vandalized. 20 million people counted as now being employed under the PPP program. They may not have a job to return back to when you look at all of the devastation in the retail sector, both financial and physical devastation now with the most recent events happening. Without the PPP loans, those 20 million employed people would basically vanish into the unemployed category. So without the PPP loans, those 20 million workers would be added to the unemployment numbers. Imagine how much worse it would be when you factor that in there. So as usual, you have to look behind the numbers. Do not be fooled. And I'm just wondering how many people are reading this good news, quote unquote good news, and going out and rushing to get a home loan, to get a mortgage, so they can go out and get themselves into an overpriced home when home prices haven't even come down yet because of all the pending disasters that are yet to unfold. Right? So we still have a storm that's yet to hit. Right now, we're seeing the beginning of the storm, but just wait until the PPP program runs out. These people no longer get that protection. They try to go back to work. The jobs may not be there. The businesses may not reopen. Remember, 50% of businesses that plan to reopen, a lot of them are not so sure that they're going to reopen. We have the frozen mortgages, the frozen car loans, the student loans. That whole fiasco is yet to explode. And we are seeing some signs now of price corrections. Take a look right here. Tesla cuts car prices by up to $5,000. So what does that tell you? And we haven't even began to see the real pain yet. And they're already cutting prices, and used car prices have already fallen. We'll have to take a look at the next report and see what happens. But the trend is downwards, fake data or no fake data. And as far as these frozen payments right now, here's an article out of NPR. Millions of Americans skip payments as tidal wave of defaults and evictions looms. So yes, this is a tidal wave that's about to hit. And this story tells about a disabled veteran, this is sad to hear, who gets a small disability pension. When the pandemic hit, his wife lost her job as a home health aide, and that was most of their income. And now she's running into long delays trying to collect unemployment. And think about that too. Those people that have not yet been able to get their unemployment, they are not yet counted in the unemployment numbers. This thing is going to get a lot worse, folks. This particular person here also said his mortgage company told him he didn't qualify for a federal program to postpone payments. All right, so that's another big, huge problem that's going to be unfolding. Also, this veteran tried to call Ford about his car loan to try to get a break on his payments for his pickup. And he said the following quote, "When I contacted them, they told me that there was nothing they could do. Just basically make your payment or suffer late fees," unquote. That is what he said. While many people are qualifying for help, a lot of people are also slipping through the cracks and not able to get help, not able to get unemployment. These types of things, are going to take a few months to play out, especially with the forbearance and all the delays that are being put out there. And while we don't want to see anybody get hurt, as wise consumers, we need to hold off. And I know somebody that contacted me several months ago asking me if they should buy a house. I said, no, don't do it. They went ahead and bought a house anyway. And this was before the whole shutdown and everything. So, of course, I didn't predict the sickness outbreak, but it was in the air. We knew something was going to happen. And we knew it just takes a few paychecks to throw this entire economy off track. Yes, they're going to try to put out fake news, false information, false numbers, false hope to try to get everybody back into the market, to get people out spending, buying cars, going out to restaurants. Again, there's a lot of people waiting to see what happened. There's still a lot of fear out there, a lot of people hurt financially. And now a lot of people I talk to are even afraid to travel because they don't know if the highway is going to be blocked off with protesters and riots. Maybe they'll get a brick thrown through their window. People don't know. People are very, very hesitant right now, and they should be. And I would encourage everybody to be wise, hold on to your money, try to save, don't spend foolishly, don't take vacations. Of course, if you're a millionaire, don't listen to any of this because, it's not going to hurt you too badly if you go out and waste money. But most people need to be really careful. It's just sad that there's so much deception out there and misleading information that's misleading a lot of people. But we hope you come back for more doses of economic reality back here at Bull Boom Bear Bust. Please give us a thumbs up if you like what we talk about. And also, don't forget to go to the comments down below. There's a lot of people down there, a lot smarter than myself, And every time I look through the comments, I always see information and learn a thing or two. So look down there. Thank you everybody for watching. Bye for now.